Hello, everyone. We are now live. Yay, us. It was very difficult this morning, or I guess the delay now is like 8 seconds. So very, very interesting today. I'm getting all set up over on my side. So we have our share here. I'll remove it for just a second so we can chitty chat a little bit, and I'll check in the chat. How's everybody doing this week? Hi, Tim. Hi, Harper. Hi, Ashling. Hello, Ryan. We have some exciting changes that have happened to Rexy, and I just got word that we're going to possibly consider a whole UI interface change. But Rexy now has the ability to take your last completion and save it to be used in the next prompt. So that's a game changer. Hey, Leland. Happy Friday. Indeed. Okay. So, what do we want to do first? Rexy or dictation? I'll let the vote go. How you were sat watching the replay, wondering how you were replying without typing. That's funny. We had a really exciting week this week in Future Fiction Academy Lab. I have to give a big props and shout out to Miss Ashling. She did a fantastic guest lab as a member of the Academy on TikTok. So that is, a big part of what we are building at Future Fiction Academy. It's really just like this really groovy place for authors to hang out at. And we're tackling AI and we're tackling all the business and stuff so that we can have profitable publishing companies. That's the goal there. So that's fantastic. Okay, so we've got 2 votes for Rexy, 1 vote for dictation. I will promise I will do dictation today. Although part of that will be you watching me dictate, which will be kind of comical too, I think, as well. But that'll be pretty fun. It was really fun. I was happy to help. Okay. I think Rexy is going to be a rabbit hole. So, okay, you guys want Rexy. By the way, we did discuss too in the caves about dictation coming to Rexy as well. So hopefully that'll may not be in version 1, maybe in version 2.0, but we do have it kind of like on the radar, so to speak, for the features. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen and we will update here how we're going. I'm a little bit tired this morning. I was doing prompting and stuff. Just lots of laughter, lots of fun last night with a friend on prompting and everything. So I literally eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff, you guys. It's kind of sad. About Leland, is your question about if dictation works with Rexy or if dictation works with the AI? And you do totally count. You totally count. Everybody counts. I'll wait for the responses here. I think I can kind of like close this up so that I can see it some on the side there. Okay. You said yes. Rexy doesn't have dictation yet, so I can't answer that question, but I can do dictation with the AI, what the purpose of that is. So I'll show that real fast first, and then we'll go deep dive into Rexy, because trust me, y'all going to be wanting to see everything. Okay. So in order to dictate, I'm going to need my handy dandy playground. I can dictate, I guess, otherwise too. So I'm going to log into Playground and go ahead and go to the API. Oh, I forgot to do the review. Man, I'm the worst live person ever. So session 2, session 3, session 4, 2 chapters. Excuse me. Apologies. I've edited nothing. Like, I was supposed to take yesterday off. Yesterday was my day off, but that did not happen. I had a really exciting meeting with the women behind AI Forces, which is AI for CES.com. They do some work with different organizations and stuff on their AI policy. And they also have an AI author course about, writing books with AI and everything like that. We are partnering up for Vegas, 20 books to 50K. Anybody going to that event in November? The entire Future Fiction Academy staff will be there. There's the possibility that one of the big brains behind Rexy will be there as well. But more importantly, we are teaming up with AI Forces to have a meet and greet for people who are at that conference at the Tipsy Robot on that Monday. So if you're coming out to Vegas, let us know and come out and have a drink on us. So session 5 is what we're on right now. I did not do any editing. It's still all messed up and everything like that, but that's fine because I have this entire weekend. No, I'm just going to be honest with y'all. This weekend, I'll be loading prompts into Rexy. That Rexy is like my number one. It's not my fault. I was going to finish a book this week, but Rexy like came into being at the beginning of the week. And I just got to prioritize on what's more important for both me, my curiosity, and the industry at large. Another book, another book. A new Rexy, that's something that can actually be beneficial to a lot of other people. So I'll probably be focusing on Rexy. I'll try to finish this book, I promise. So session 5, we are going to just kind of go into demo mode on dictation and a little bit of Rexy. And this will not be the only live for Rexy. Matter of fact, this live may not even stay for very long. It'll probably be up for a couple of weeks. I'll probably end up taking it down at some point and having a more structured like Rexy experience for a cool fun live. And that'll be, I think, a really big fun event. So let me know in the chat what kinds of times for the lives have been great for you. And also those of you who have been here for all the sessions, thank you so much for the support. It really does mean a lot. This would not be fun to do all on my own. There is only one Rexy. And yes, Leland's going to do some Write With Me sessions. Fantastic. It is posted on YouTube. Yeah, everything is here on YouTube. Oh, good. Well, yeah, Leland, I know you're going to 20 books. Great. Fantastic. Oh, Ashling, well, maybe next year we can have you. Although I'm going to try next year to really go to SPF over in London. I think they might be moving it. So hopefully next summer I'll be able to get over to the UK because I want to meet people over there. Okay, so demo dictation. Let's take a look because I left myself breadcrumbs. Remember, we did like a brainstorm the rest of the story. And so I had this kind of like information here. And we were somewhere in the realm of the day before the inquest. This whole thing of AM goes into labor. I've got like 3,000 words because Claude 2.0 finally decided to show up. He was no longer throwing a temper tantrum. He wrote 3,000 words, but it's a little bit of a mess because I was planning for her to have false labor, not full labor. Claude was like, no, full labor. I can cut that up and kind of change it into 2 scenes. Let's see here. The day before the inquest comes, Mr. Bingley's upset into the Darcy townhome that he has lost Buxton Hall. I don't know. I'm going to do that. I think I can do the arrivals of the townhome. I don't remember the name of the staff from the townhome. So that'll be, I know the housekeeper is Mrs. Potter, but I actually like named different staff and everything like that. So I'd want to read up on that. Lord Strange will be at the inquest. Let's do this part right here. Just last month. That's going to come out after when I'm trying to remember. I remembered I wanted that to be a reveal. Yes, I want that right. And then in the morning, Parliament convenes. Okay. So I need to do the romantic scene. So this is what we're going to do next. This part right here. Boop, boop, boop. So I am going to come over to Playground. And what's really cool about Playground is that it does have the ability for dictation. Oh, thank you very much. I did not realize I was not sharing my screen. Oh my goodness. Apologies profusely for that. I thought I was, and then I guess it did not. It started to. There we go. My bad. What a terrible live. I guess it's definitely a Friday. Okay. So let me go back for a second for those who are visual. So I was looking at we're right here in session 3 and session 4. So this is the Future Fiction Academy help page. You guys have the link to this in the description. This has been going over kind of the synopsises and everything of every session I've been doing. I highly recommend doing this kind of like captain's log type tracking when you're working with AI. How many of you have been working with AI and you get interrupted, or you have to do a different task, or you just end for the day, and when you come back the next day, you're like, what was I doing? What was I prompting? Where was I prompting? Where was I? Anyone have those issues when they're working with AI? Yes, they were very thin on AI at the SPF, but they're awesome. So everyone else loses their train of thought as well with working with AI in the chat. So I do think that one of the skill sets with working with AI, because we are in more of a creative director mode, it's even more important for yourself to leave breadcrumbs and notes for yourself. Even if it's something that you don't have to do day to day, or if it is something you have to do day to day, it can be very helpful for when you come back into the session to pick up where you left off, to explain what prompts you were running, what models you are running, and what was going on, and those kinds of things. So it's a nice way to kind of like wrap that up. Okay. So that said, now we can get into the actual work part. So what I did is I read through these things here of what scenes I kind of already wrote, even though they're kind of a mess. I can fix the mess, right? We just want to get words on the page here. So we have the inquest is going to start, and Darcy meets with his father's old scientific society. So that's actually the part that I wanted to do. Where did I? Oh, I jumped right after that. Okay, so we did not do the scientific society part, which was important. And then I want, okay, so this whole thing, so we got out of order because of the AI decided that Anne was going to give full birth. Okay, so the Darcys to the townhome. The inquest is going to start the following day. Darcy meets with his father's old scientific society. Okay, do I need to do the scene? Let me think here. So I think I'm just going to do the little bit here. So dictation is not in the chat mode, by the way. You don't have it. And it kind of makes me nervous because they keep saying legacy here for completion, and I'm worried about this going away. So what I'm going to do is, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to dictate the scene, y'all. Y'all going to watch me with my eyes closed. I hope you're prepared for this. Has anyone ever seen somebody dictate a scene live? This will probably be about, usually I would dictate about 10 to 12 minutes to get a couple thousand words. I probably won't go that far at this time. I'll probably just try to do a few minutes here. Okay. So here we go. All I'm going to do is click this little microphone button right here that says speech to text. I've also used dictation in the past with my computer, what's built in. I've used Dragon before. I've been dictating stories since 2014. December of 2014 was when I started using Dragon dictation for my Jane Austen fan fiction. So here we go. Usually I would have music playing. I usually like to listen to music scores, like movie scores or something. When I'm writing Jaff specifically, I'll usually have the soundtrack for Bridgerton on. So we'll click this button. I don't have an audio already recorded. So here we go. We're going to click start recording. Mr. Darcy stared out at the scene of London in early January with a frown permanently fixed upon his face, period. The weather was unbearable, comma, though it was slightly warmer than Pemberley, period. And as his driver went round and round the block, comma, he reviewed the notes he wrote down on a piece of parchment about the Royal Society and a man named Smithson from his father's journals, old journals that he kept in the study, period. Next line. His wife, Elizabeth, was not too keen that no sooner had they arrived at the townhome, comma, he had his man prepare him for a night out, period. Elizabeth had been disappointed, and he could still recall her standing with her hand on her hip, inquiring if now they were in London, he would turn into one of those foppish gentlemen that always ran off to his club, leaving his wife to her sister, period. He had kissed her cheek and reassured her he would not be at the club every night, comma, but there was a man he had to see before the inquest began in the morning, period. Next line. The entrance to the Royal Society, describe that here. I have no idea what that looks like, comma, new line. The men sat around smoking pipes in various groupings, period. Large tables stood in the room, perfect for charts, various star charts, and explanations and illustrations of scientific discoveries, period. As the butler showed Mr. Darcy in, comma, he was directed over to the fireplace to an older man sitting quite calmly and reading a book on something, period. New line. Mr. Darcy and Smithson have a conversation where Smithson asks how his father is doing, and Mr. Darcy has to explain that his father passed a number of years ago, comma. Mr. Smithson will explain that he has only been back in London for a few months and planning to travel again for reasons of scientific back to the continent now that Napoleon has simmered down. New line. The conversation will continue between these two men where Mr. Smithson says, for him to be out with it about the favor he must ask, since which puts Darcy aback. And so he tries to play it off, but Mr. Smithson says that Mr. Darcy would not have come to see him unless there was something that he could do for him. Period. New line. Mr. Darcy should calmly explain, succinctly, that he asked for Northumberland's help in a delicate matter regarding the family, and then he'll be interjected, and Smithson will finish, and my brother required too high of a price. And Mr. Darcy will say, yes, basically. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording, and you'll notice, oh man, that's nerve-wracking. I've never dictated live for people before. Woo. You'll notice I started off like describing the scene, and then I kind of turned it into like just instructions about how to write the scene. So what we're going to do is I have the dictation, the transcription right here, and it has comma and new lines. So I'm going to use it as the input. I didn't know that it wouldn't do the comma and new lines, but that's okay. So I'm going to grab this, and we're gonna push it and see what it can do. So I'm going to come to Claude, and I'm going to say, read this raw transcription from an author writing a Pride and Prejudice variation. Please follow any instructions in the raw transcription as writing instructions. Anything that sounds like prose, expand it, and write a full scene for a novel. And then I'm going to put transcription. So I've defined it and paste it in and click go. And let's see. And it's got that, the bearable. It's taking the words identical. You'll notice I said, I don't know what the Royal Society sounds like. I said, describe this. I have no idea what this looks like. How amazing is that you can literally dictate, you can start writing a scene in your head, and then you can literally give instructions like, I don't know what this looks like, describe this thing, and then new line and go to something else. And it understands it. It picks it up of what it would do, and it's just writing this entire scene. Is everyone able to see the magic I'm seeing? I will check the window here. Yeah. Exactly. You can dictate your beats, and you can be as vague as you want to. So, and this is 533 words. So very well, it's the Duke of Northumberland. And then have Mr. Darcy stop at Bingley's club where he is staying after the conversation, and learn and find the man in his cups. Bingley is angry. His land agent brought him all the way to London to express that Buxton Hall is mortgaged to the hilt. Darcy listens, calms him down, and promises that after tomorrow they will start looking for a new home. Bingley gets upset and is vulnerable a moment about what kind of man is he, but his father think he is. That he has a family and cannot even provide a roof for their heads. Darcy Claps his hand on the man's shoulder and tells him that Providence will provide. He is sure of it. And my land agent is better than yours. There we go. So it should understand from this that it's going to just expand it. Oh, it's going to rewrite the entire thing. Interesting. Oh, no. Terminated. Why was I terminated? I've never seen that before. Let's try again. That is so strange. Has anyone else run into that where it just is terminated? Well, it's running now. I certainly wasn't running anything like illicit or anything like that. So that's good to know. Let me check the chat. Awesome. Yes. So dictating is very handy. Your phone is actually pretty decent at dictating as well. You can just save, Google Docs or dictate into Notion. The other thing too is that I don't know if y'all know this or not, but you can access ChatGPT and Claude on your phone. Most smartphones, I know they have the apps and everything like that, but I find that the website works just fine. If let's see, continue with Google, and I'm picking my Google one. Their interface and stuff just works to where you can see it's perfectly just like the website and everything like that. So you can use your phone. And what's cool about your phone is that if you click any box, you have a little microphone down at the bottom on your phone that will allow you to dictate into it, and you can dictate different things. Some phones you may need to keep an eye on it because you may start dictating and it times out after 30 seconds or 40 seconds or something like that. You'll notice that I dictated for 3 minutes and I ended up with 533 words. And then I told it to continue. And now I have, let's see here. Still only about 700 words, I think. 757 words. Oh, that's my area code, 757. So 800 words basically. But still, that's 800 words in less than 20 minutes. And I feel fine. I can remember old days of sprinting when I would sprint with typing. We'd set a timer for 20 minutes. I would be very happy if I got 700 to 1200 words typing, but then I would pay for it later. Like many others, I would hurt here. I would have issues with my neck. My fingers would hurt after I could only do a couple of sprints a day or whatever. This, I could keep going 2-3 more sessions and end up with 3,000, 4,000 words all in an hour. Writing day done. Come back in the afternoon after, a stint at the pool or the beach and edit that up. And suddenly you're really getting into a cycle and iteration of where you're just finalizing, 4,000 to 5,000 words a day. And that rate is not something I was ever able to do before AI. I would be able to either write 4,000 words in a day or edit 4,000 words in a day. Routinely, I couldn't pull down those numbers. And if I did, it would be like 2 or 3 days in a row. And then I would be dead for about 2 days because it just takes so much out of you creatively for that to do that method. So I'm happy with this to get started with it. So I'm just going to come over here and don't worry about that. This is a different project I was playing with Rexy last night. Any questions about dictation, or does everyone feel kind of comfortable now? You go into Playground. The other thing I wanted to show about Playground too is that it does have the ability when you click this button to bring an MP3 recording. So if you want to use your phone, you get an MP3 recorder app on your phone or something like that. You can bring those files in as well. Okay, so coming here. This is going to be such a hot mess when I try to do this, but that's okay. I'm going to come up here actually. This is all going to get moved down because that was from different things. And then I'm going to go mom number 6. Oh, nope, I need to create a page. Even though I didn't run this with Rexy, I'm trying to keep all the bits here kind of all the same here in the same area. Mom number 6, and this is a scene where Darcy visits with Smithson. And Bingley learns Buxton Hall is lost. And I'll paste it in. What I love about Notion is like I can grab entire paragraphs and move them around. I also do pay the extra $10 a month. So Notion's $20 a month to have um, to have AI. Now, there is a kind of an issue here that Smithson is not the right spelling. I don't think. It's like John Smithson. I always get to it from the Duke of Northumberland's page. So if I go to Wikipedia and I go to the Duke of Northumberland, and it's the one Earl. Okay, yeah, he was at one point. Where is. There we go. Hugh Percy. So in my story, he was married to Elizabeth Percy, and I'm imagining that Elizabeth's sister had an affair with Sir Louis de Burgh. So that's basically the parentage of George Wickham, and it happened all the time. If you ever saw the movie The Duchess with Georgina, or about Georgina Devonshire, uh, starring Keira Knightley, there's like a situation there where she actually has a child that's not her husband's child, and the child is basically handed off to another family to raise. Things like that happened all the time because marriages were business deals, and then people would have house parties, and there's no DNA or anything. So if the father didn't accept the child, then the child just went away. So right here, yeah, this is his brother, James Smithson. So to make my life easier, I'm going to grab this link so that this is another reason why I love Notion. If I come here, I can grab, so it's not with an E, cool beans. And I can just click right here and I can go resources for writing the scene. And I can also do a little bit of research on the Royal Academy. So he was naturalized. So he was actually born Jacques Louis Massy. So maybe I'll have him like his father, even though he was anglicized, I bet Mr. Darcy could have called him Jacques or something like that. He wrote 27 papers, and he did spend a lot of time traveling through Europe. So what is blowpipe analysis? Oh, interesting. Okay, so I could have him be playing with that or something like that. We can do a lot of different things here for that. It's kind of fascinating to me, the scientific revolution and stuff, the time period, that it was literally just a bunch of people sitting around doing things that our children do these days, like kids would make a straw and play with blowing on fire and everything like that. And that was a scientific advancement back then. Oh, how things have changed. Always fascinating and really fun. That's for the parts of what I can do for when I'm writing history. So I'm trying to find the bits about the Royal Academy. Let's just find it. Royal Academy. There we go. Royal Society. Maybe I did it. I said it right. So I'll just copy this. And then for research and things like that, so it helps me so you can learn, like, it wasn't there until 1967. This is how you can tell when somebody doesn't do their homework. And I would never do this anyway, because I actually know during the Regency era, the Carlton House was for the regent, like the regent would live there. So it wasn't something that was like offices or anything. But I can do some research. And what's great about Wikipedia is, as you all know, down here at the bottom, there's still like, links and things like that to find information that you're looking for. So I'm just trying to make my editing a lot easier by getting my resources all together. Royal Society. Okay, so that's all good. And I'll check my chat one more time. We are halfway through, so perfect time to get over to Rexy. You and me both, Ashling. I am super sorry for the dogs. There's probably somebody at the door. I'm also very addicted to Notion, and we do actually have a fantastic lab in Future Fiction Academy about Notion by Stacy. Are the dogs super loud? Are you guys even really able to hear them, or it's just like a little bit of background noise? I've never had them go bonkers so badly. And now my daughter, I think my parents came home. That's what happens. All right. So who's ready for Rexy? Any questions on dictation before we move on? Yeah, who let the dogs out? Indeed. We're all about the 90s songs. Although I think that's in early 2000s. Yeah, I think that was definitely early 2000s, I think. Very close, somewhere on the cusp of that. Okay, so no questions about dictation. If so, I will come back about it. So, and it's very handy And it will feel weird at first when you do it, just so you know. You're going to feel like you're slower, but the truth is we speak a lot faster than we type in most cases, especially for someone like me, because I can go not quite auctioneer speed, but I am from the South. So like I'll just talk your ear off and I'll just da 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 da. Very handy when you just want to throw that into the computer, let it deal with it, and then let the AI translate it. And I do want to go back to just real fast to re-emphasize, this is a hot mess. I have from here and here, I have his old journals. Next line, his wife was not too keen. He would turn, he had kissed her cheek. The entrance, describe that here. I have no idea what that looks like. The entrance. The men sat around smoking pipes in various groupings, large groups. And then I just say, like, the conversation will continue these two men. And then we can actually validate here. It says the introductions. It does have the large tables, perfect for charts, various star charts and explanations and illustrations of scientific discoveries. As the butler showed Mr. Darcy in, he was directed over to the fireplace to an older man sitting quite calmly and reading a book on astronomy. That's interesting because I said he's reading a book on something, I think. I mean, this is actually really cool now that I really think about it. So coming back here, I'm trying to find where I said, yeah, right here. He's reading a book on something. So that is really fantastic that you can actually scaffold a scene and you can just be honest about the parts you don't know and the AI will put it in. I'm very impressed. I'm very, very impressed. Oh dear. A number of years ago now. How is your father these days? I have only returned to London after being abroad these last few years, so news does not always reach me straight away. Of course, I understand completely. I actually came here tonight because I'm in need of a favor, though I hesitate to ask it of you. Come now, Darcy, let's not stand on ceremony. I know you have not sought me out unless it was something important. Please speak. Okay, I like this. The price he asked in return was too high. I cannot meet his terms, but I hoped perhaps you might be able to help instead. Ah, I see. My brother always did drive a hard bargain. Let me see what I can do for you, Mr. Darcy. But for the sake, yeah, that is way too simple of a set of a conversation, but it does have the good bones of it. It's got enough bones there that I would be able to add to it. So that's good. Good. And what I might before we go to Rexy, can I do a field trip? Anybody cool with a field trip? Yes, no. I know you guys are usually good for a field trip. I'll check the chat, but I think everyone's going to be like, yes, we want the field trip. Okay, so here is the idea. Let me see if I can get I know the software I don't usually like because it's burned me so many times. Scrivener, the Scrivener. Okay, I won't show you the whole Scrivener, but what I will say is there is a scene where it's in book 3. I'm pretty sure it was book 3 where he goes to the house in London. So give me 1 second here. I'm going to grab it. Wickham seeks out Young, Darcy and Eve, midnight interlude. Okay, you know, that was the cool part. He goes to the docks. I did that. There it is. He visits the Duke of Northumberland. Okay. So let me see here. I have 1,700 words of the chapter from book 3. Okay. So here's what I wanted to do. This is great. Here is a chapter from an earlier book in this series. I want you to read it and then update the conversation between Mr. Darcy and Mr. Smithson about the Duke of Northumberland. To be more accurate to the situation. Please keep in mind it's 1813. So while in private, things are talked about. And we'll see what it does. It may just already know that. It just may already know to be nuanced. Please have the gentleman use nuance and polite etiquette when discussing Mr. Wickham. Also, Mr. Wickham was murdered in London the previous summer. So, hold on here. I'm just trying to update the things. So, the Duke did not fulfill his promise. Smithson should convey he has leverage over his brother. And in the memory of old Mr. Darcy, who saved Smithson life when they were on their grand tour together, he will take care of his brother. Okay. Chapter from previous book. I don't know if it can do this. I am basically saying that I wanted to read this book and then I wanted to incorporate details about the deals that were made. And I'm going to see if it can do this. I'm not telling it what deals. In the original chapter that you guys can't read right yet, it is the Duke of Northumberland is the paternal uncle, basically, for George Wickham in my series story. But all of that was kept hush hush. Now Wickham is causing problems because he's in cahoots with Lord Strange about the mining scandal. And in order to not have it come out about Elizabeth Burrell and her love child and everything, he basically tells the Duke, we both have a similar problem. I just need him to be transported to the colonies. I just need him to disappear. And basically Wickham gets shot dead in the streets the following summer. No clue still yet on who did the murder. I originally planned on having Georgina be responsible for it, but we'll see what happens. So we're now getting to the conversation here. Yes, a situation regarding a certain relation of mine who lacked propriety in his actions. I had hoped to secure assistance. Continue. Talked well into the night. But I shall do my utmost to rectify it discreetly. Your father was like a brother to me. I still have the violin he gifted me during our travels through Florence together. Oh, that's so cute. I didn't know there was a violin. This is the beautiful thing about writing with AI, right? Works for me. But, it's because I fed it that idea of him saving his life, and it was like, no, I don't want that. I want the violin. I do like this material a little bit better. And now we have a more specific conversation than like, hello to you and everything like that. And that alone, so it wasn't completely specific, but it was really cool that it was able to take the context. To see the word count, we have 258 there, and I think this is probably about 500. Maybe. I may be happy on that. 589. Okay, so that's 850 right there. So if I come back to this original plan here, what's really cool is that why I love Notion. So I have I can actually create a toggle list right here. And I can say, new version from Claude 2.0 for beginning of scene. And then when I open this up, I can literally just bring over from my jump cut the pieces of the right here. And then this toggle will disappear. So the toggle's right there. And so I have it to expand and I can grab elements of it and try to kit bash these two together. What's also really cool about this when you want to kit bash, if you do put them in a toggle, You can grab this toggle and bring it over to the left side of this, and that'll immediately turn everything into two columns. So love Notion. Like I have become a Notion fanatic at this point. So that is that. Okay, so let me check the YouTube. Yes, Magic School Bus. So definitely what we tested a little bit here. You can take a previous chapter that has the materials that you know is needed for the information in this later chapter and ask the AI to read it and take it into consideration for the tasks it needs to do in this existing chapter. That is pretty cool. I don't think that there's going to be the ability for the AI yet to like have an index of all the chapters and find the chapters it needs, because that's a lot of the problem is like how many words of context that would be. But if you had everything in an outline, a master outline of like a quick synopsis, you could probably go, we're going to write this scene, read this outline of the entire series so far, and please list the book and the chapter number of where you think there might be information in it. And I bet it could do that. I think we'll make that a lab for Future Fiction Academy. That would be a fun lab to do. What do you all think? The ability of being able to go and look and seeing, can the AI index based off of an outline and come up and identify which chapters it needs. And I love that it threw a violin in there. I wasn't planning on that at all. Okay. So yeah, innovation, man. This is great. Jen is sharing, another nice thing about toggles in Notion is if you use the app, you can get different word counts in a single page. Closed toggle words don't count. Ooh, that's a good tip, Jen. Thank you for sharing it. Also, these tools give everything the same importance. So getting the right is a luck roll. Absolutely. It would definitely be something that I would run a couple of times. You always need to validate it. This is not something I would not rely on the AI to be 100% accurate. I would expect myself to have a certain level of understanding about my series, but I do think AI is going to make it easier for us to make those elements of, like you guys have watched me in the previous lives. I've summarized, I've literally written a chapter and then had the AI immediately summarize it for me. If I have those summary tools, it's a lot easier to read through a summary and get a reminder of where something might be in a story, especially when you're working on multiple series or you're switching books in between the series and things like that, things of that nature. So very, very handy. Notion's very powerful, and so is Claude 2.0. Okay. One last test. I'm sorry about dictation. I know this is terrible. We tested Claude. I think we should test ChatGPT. I think we should see if ChatGPT can write this with the same prompt that I gave Claude. So I'm going to come up to Claude and I'm going to give the exact same prompt, not all of that, but just this. And let's see how ChatGPT handles it. Right? It's kind of interesting. I know Playground would probably be able to do it. We'll do ChatGPT 4. And I'm just going to paste that prompt in and click go. And let's see if it's able to understand that it's a hot mess and sometimes it's prose and sometimes it's instructions on what to write. So the first instance here is the Royal Society. It contained notes about the Royal Society. He was suddenly jolted from his thoughts by memory of his wife's expression just a short while ago. This did a better job of changing my really bad writing of like, he recalled Elizabeth standing there with her hand and everything. Ooh, it turned it into dialogue. I know it says Jane and it should be Mary, but I like this. This is great. Tobacco and brandy. And then it gives a description of the Royal Society. Okay, I'm gonna give it to ChatGPT actually. I think ChatGPT did a better job of turning that dictation into something usable. What do you all think? And the check marks I'm doing this against is the fact that this is a little bit better than what Claude did. Claude just had, it almost did word for word what I already said, versus OpenAI actually understood the assignment and made it better in the validation. The other thing I would say too is that it got the hand over hip and it got the dialogue, and Claude did not turn it into dialogue. It kept it as narrative summary. I'm going to check the chat here to catch up with everybody. Yeah, chat came to play today. I agree. This is fantastic. You know I have to keep it. I can't let it go. It's a good thing we can have unlimited toggles. So I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to go another toggle. And you guys know what time it is. Dasha's scratching at the door. And we're going to go this ChatGPT superior opening. And then I'll open that and paste that in. And that was, let's see how many words. 568. So on par with the original one before I added the Bingley edition and everything like that. Well, let's be apples to apples. Let's do this. Let's add this stuff here and let's see if it can continue the scene, shall we? There we go. So it's going to do that and I'll let my dog in. Dasha, did you want to join the live? Now you're laying down? Come on. Okay. Come on. Sorry for having a temperamental fur baby. Okay. So here we go. He left it with a heavy heart. Cool. And now we have Charles Bingley at the bar. It's not really at the bar, but that's okay. All the way to this blasted city telling me that Buxton Hall is mortgaged to the hilt. Now, Claude had a better line of like it's mortgaged up to the chimneys, which I'll probably use. And my dear friend, always remember, my land agent's far better than yours. Okay, I like that. What kind of man does this make me? My father would be ashamed. How can I not provide a roof for them? Jane trusted me, and look where we are now. That's some powerful stuff right there. So I like that too. So we'll bring that over. We'll keep that as well. New toggle. All the toggles. I got to do a shout out actually to Ryan Mather from Pseudowrite. He's the one who taught me about toggles. So Ryan Mather is the head designer for Pseudowrite. Really great guy. ChatGPT. Let's do ChatGPT superior Bingley section. So that I know that. And then I put this in here. So yeah, 48 minutes. And I have, I don't know, this is like 800, 500, 1300, plus this. I think there's about 3,000 words here for me to play with, in all honesty, that I can expand on and edit up. So not a bad work day, you know. Plus we got to play with new toys. That's always more fun. All right, so I'm going to close some of these out, and then I'll give you guys a quick little update on Rexy, and we can wrap up this live. These lives actually kind of turn into like a lab almost. This was a lot of fun. I really appreciate everyone, and I appreciate the ideas and the inputs and everything. It's been fantastic. Okay, so Rexy does have a timeline now in the Future Fiction Academy if you are a member. And again, you get a 3-day free trial, so come check it out and hang out with us. But it is in the Discord on what the timeline is. So the very first alpha user got access last night who is not an instructor. So I tested that situation out. And if you're wondering who it is, he just put a dinosaur emoji in the chat. So, well, basically, I figured out a way. I have figured out how to get somebody else, not an instructor, signed into Rexy and to start being able to use it. Good, because I've got to teach alpha group on Thursday. I might do something earlier too. We'll see. Then, come September, Rexy is breaking out of the cage. It will be available to every FFA member to use for free in the month of September. So everyone will get a chance to play with him, use him. We'll develop some curriculum around him and labs and everything. Come October, those who want to continue working with Rexy will have the option to pay a small nominal fee, about $30 a month, that they can continue to use Rexy as part of their lab fees. So that's what's happening there. Once we get through October, though, Rexy is going to be, even more robust, more features, more things coming, that he's going to turn into something that is a tool that it is going to be a very high premium tool. Come later this fall, it's probably going to be in the $200 to $500 a month range to be able to join the lab and also have access to Rexy. So if you are an early adopter And I'm saying this because this video is not going to last on YouTube forever. I will eventually take it down, probably in about a week. But I just want to make it very clear that at the Future Fiction Academy, we are rewarding the authors who are working with us and sticking with us. And then we are trying to develop these really high-end professional tools that can be used and wielded by professionals to, no kidding, churn out a book a week and not feel fatigued or upset about it. And we're not suggesting you churn out crap. You guys see how I'm writing with AI. I'm not just like, oh, first draft, we'll just publish that. No. This is not write a book all in an entire day. Writing books does require, processing and figuring out the plot elements and editing and letting things simmer a little bit. But if you have tools to help you make your production faster, that allows you to be in the driver's seat on, you can literally write an entire book in 1 week, let it sit, write another book, and then come back to that other book with fresh eyes. You can actually turn your career into basically like a full-time writing room for genre fiction and make your readers very, very happy. And that's the philosophy that we're working for. That's what we want to go for. If there's any questions, throw them in the chat. All right, Rexy, here we go. He's coming out. Oh, and I just shared. Okay, that's fine. You can't see the keys or anything. You just see my Notion Pages ID. It's not a big deal. Probably should have fixed that, but no big deal. Right here. I knew if Leland bugs me, Leland, go ahead and call me out. I knew there would be a chance that I might share something sensitive. I'm so grateful that my API keys are hidden. I should have checked the link before I did, but this is what happens when you're going fast and teaching live and everything. So, okay, we have some extra viewers here, and I know I don't know if that's Bing. I think it's a Zing. Zing. Elizabeth almost shared all of her stuff. It's all right. You can change API keys. Anyway, here we go. So the new Rexy, what's really kind of cool about him is the innovation that Joseph, you added yesterday, which I love, that I asked for, was we now have our full catalog in here. We don't have prompts for all of them. But let me try to think. Some of the new innovations. Okay, so 2 big things. Number 1, we've had a lot of concerns, and I agree about this, about, what if I don't want to work with an API key? What if that's kind of scary to me? What if I can't get an API key for whatever reason? Because I live in a country where I can't get an API key, but I can access Poe, or I can access pseudo-write, or these other tools. Or what if I can't get an API key for a tool I want? Like, we all know Claude, it takes a while to get an API key if you can get one at all. We thought about that. So the new way of doing this is, for example, let me just show this. So let's say we're in writing, and I'm going to pull up a Claude prompt that is pretty robust that we've been using regularly here. So I'm going to load Claude. I'm going to go over to this prompt. Now, this is a very complicated prompt. It's read characters and outline and story so far, and then write chapter 1 in outline and only chapter 1. Make the chapter 4,000 to 5,000 words. You may expand the story beyond the outline so long as it does not contradict the outline. Above all, what you write for chapter number must connect seamlessly to story so far. Please write end when you're done writing chapter number. For those of you who are members of the Future Fiction Academy, you can start counting up and going like, oh my gosh, there's like a bunch of variables there. There's characters, there's outline, there's story so far, there's chapter numbers, and now there's an end thing. Okay, so there's a bunch of different elements I'm going to have to constantly copy and paste. And the old way we would do this is I would highlight this when we teach in the lab. I'm going to come over to my Brontosaurus pages here. My pages. I lost the track here. And we're going to come all the way down to the bottom. And we're going to go like a page and mega prompt. Mega prompt, kind of like Megatron. And we would teach our students, like, you paste this in, and then where it says characters, we would, step this out, and you would have to copy and paste in here. And I've got a list of characters from pseudo-write, actually, that I'm going to use real fast. So I'm going to bring Rachel Thompson. So now I have some characters, but it didn't put it in the between. And this happens all the time when you're pasting in here. So knowing in Notion and knowing how to mega prompt, you'd have to go and grab this and take that out, move it down all the way over here. I think the king of mega prompting is actually here in the house today. That's Leland. He has a mega prompt to like make all other mega prompts scared and run away. And then, so same thing for outline. I would open up outline here, and I would bring in an outline. I'm just pasting in an outline. So let me see if this one is a good one. Yeah. So Act 1, this is an outline from Pseudo Write. You guys will recognize it for the things. And then I don't have anything for the story so far. So I would usually like take this out, or if I did have the story so far, and I'll do this as an example. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to come back to the projects. I'm going to go grab, because it's the same story. Basically, I have stories that I run all the time. So I'm going to go grab the original chapter, like the one I was running last night. So this is chapter 1 of this story. This is the story so far. And I come back over here to the mega prompt. All this copying and pasting. Anybody? And so I'm going to say, this is the story so far. And I'm going to put in chapter 1. And then I'm going to say, okay, and then write chapter, okay, where it says chapter number, I'm going to say, I want you to write chapter 2 in the outline and only chapter 2. Make the story this and outline. And then, oh, there's another chapter number. So I've got to put in a 2 here. And I've got to put in a 2 here. Okay. Does that make sense to the regular students here? If this is how you would like construct a mega prompt that you were given, and you would start filling in the different pieces, right? It's a lot. Let's do it easier. So Rexy now has the ability that if I was to paste in the box the story so far, bloop, and I pasted in the characters. Let me grab the characters, Rachel Thompson, and I paste in the outline. Let me grab the outline right there. This field is where I say chapter 2, and if I click save, right? We now have a new mode where instead of processing to an actual API, I can click construct and I can say I need this to be Alex and Rachel, chapter 2 mega prompt. And it's going to go to a special page in my Notion that I have for construct prompt only. Let me show you where that page lives. So on my projects page now up at the top, you'll see I have a log page and I have a prompt construction page. So we click construct system prompt only. It will show me the prompt. And then at the bottom, there's usually a link right here to the Notion page for that prompt. And now I can just copy this all. It's already all set up. Look, I don't have to change the chapter 2s, nothing. And I can bring that over to Claude as a new chat. So I know it's still a little bit of copying and pasting, but I think it's a lot easier when you're working in Rexy here to be able to see, like, these are the elements of my prompting, and this is what I'm going to have in here. And then I can save it. And when you save these items and things like that, we're going to even have more ability to save different elements with these S slots for the save 1, save 2. Those are a magic element. So if I was to create prompts for everyone, it's a little bit more advanced. You'd be able to put different elements into these different S1s and S2s. And then kind of like the recipe card will say, you know, put characters in your S1, put this in your S2. And that correlates to where it needs to go into the main area over there. And so you can save your characters and stuff to run a whole bunch of different prompts and have them spit out for you so that they're ready to just copy and paste. And look, the mega prompt worked. It's now writing me chapter 2. So even if you don't have access to Claude, Rexy's still going to be able to help you so that you can organize your story elements very cleanly and create that mega prompt. And never again will you hopefully have the situation of like, you put a typo, you didn't close a tag, it wasn't, you know, the characters weren't labeled, or some of the basic mistakes we all make, especially when we're tired. I'm going to check the chat and see what people think about this. Yeah, easy, very easy to work with it. No API needed. You can use the chat interfaces 100%. So that is a mode of Rexy. Other cool thing about that is if for us as the Future Fiction Academy, I can have students literally share with me a link. Like they're like, I can't get this to work. I can say, okay, construct your prompt and send it to me. And I can take a look at this and I can see immediately if where there's a problem. You know, I can do my checks because I helped make the prompt. So it also turns into kind of like an educational tool for us, or for you to work with somebody else who's collaborative. This is going to open up so many doors that you can write a mega prompt very quickly for the book, send it to your co-writer or your editor, or if you're working on a project with somebody, and be like, is everybody cool with this? Is everybody cool that I'm making these changes? And you can actually get a whole library of prompts that you're happy and ready to go with. I know in this case, it's got chapter 1 in it. But imagine you were doing like a whole set of prompts that was like chapter beats and things like that. You'd actually be able to build out a way in Notion and stuff to kind of compare and contrast. I'm really excited to do some of these things. Now that I know about gallery view, I think that there would be some fun things to do to like storyboard this more easily. And then once I have my prompts ready to go, that's the other part that's coming. It's not there yet. The other thing that's coming on Rexy is Notion slots. It's coming soon. What that'll look like is once you have a Notion page and you have all of your elements in in Notion individual documents, you can actually link those documents to an S slot, so that, or well, they'll be N slots, but you'll be able to link them so that they can be turned into prompts. So we're all going to become alchemists. We're going to become prompt alchemists with this element and that element, and let me throw in a writing style thing, and let me throw in some other stuff. Let me throw in an example prose or something like that. So this is going to be very powerful very soon. And the most important part of where that power comes from, it's from you, the user, bringing your unique flair and like pizzazz to these prompts. I can build structures of prompts. I know the dog's going crazy again. I can build structures of prompts really well. I can do it in my sleep, riding a unicycle, all those things. What I can't do is, create unique sets of characters for everybody. That's where you all come in. You're the ones who are feeding the AI the unique characters, the unique premises, the unique stories that need to be told, the stories that didn't get told because the amount of time it would take to put in there, the margins would be too high because maybe the audience is low. So what happens is that audience just doesn't get any books. So this is going to be, I think, a big game changer for a lot of people. At least I hope so. Yes, going to be so cool. So this thing is coming as early as I can manage it in September to the Future Fiction Academy. So it's never been a better time to join the Academy. Tell your friends, let them know. This video will be on YouTube for a little while so people can see it for a couple of days and everything. Eventually it will be taken down because, well, I mean, we don't want to embarrass Rexy. We shouldn't have Rexy out on YouTube where, he wasn't fully ready, but we will have more training and stuff on Rexy for sure. Okay, so those are the big innovations coming. There's a little bit more up the sleeve. You guys can probably think this through, that if there is S1s, that means I could save and I could keep going and save and keep going and save and keep going. I do have a little bit of prompting that I'm doing on that, but it's not 100% ready for prime time yet. It only has like 2 steps in it, which is kind of like boring. But that's another innovation that's coming. But I really wanted to show what's really important about Rexy. If you're watching me work with Rexy and you're like, I don't want to mess with API keys, I don't have any future for that, I don't care about that, we can help you create very quickly prompts. And even if you don't want to copy it from the Notion page, you can literally just copy it from here by clicking in the box and copying. I do also plan to hopefully make some prompts for other tools too. So like if Poe's your jam, if Pseudo-Write's your jam, if Verb's your jam, we'll make sure that we get some prompting and some prompt examples in there too for people who are new to those tools and trying to like, how do I use first draft in Pseudo-Write? Hypothetically, you would be able to paste this in. I don't know the context window anymore on that, but I will say that I think it's going to be a really powerful tool to make a bunch of different prompts. Okay, so that's the Rexy preview. I think we did a lot this write-a-thon. We have one more session later today. I'm going to check my handy dandy planner. Yes, I'm still paper. I know, I'm so old, but that's where I have my life. Okay, 9 p.m. tonight. So hopefully that'll be very celebratory and we'll have some fun. Maybe I'll get some time this afternoon to start making sense of I think we are now up to like 11,000 words that we've written this week, just with AI, different components and things like that. So different elements. Any questions before I send you off and wish you well on your writing projects and everything like that? All right. Well, thank you so much for coming and learning about dictation with AI. I think that's got a lot of potential. And thank you for seeing some of the sneak previews of Rexy. I really, really appreciate it. Your support this week has been amazing. I'm looking forward to our last session this week at 9 o'clock. And there will be more of these. So this is the only way apparently I get words done. Even if it means I edit them off on my own, that's fine. But doing this writing session, I think if we can get another 3,000 words tonight, that'll mean I will have done 15,000 words this week. And I can tell you right now, I did not do 15,000 words last week. It's just taking the time to get the books done and everything. So maybe if I'm teaching AI full time, it's not so bad that I write part time or have a part time. I take a little bit longer in between publishing books. All right. Thank you all so much. Thank you for being a part of the Academy. You all are very amazing and you're inspiring to us every single day. We really appreciate you. So take care, and I will see some people in lab maybe tomorrow. I might pop in just to see how those are going. I should have checked to see what the schedule is. If there's another FFA instructor on to know what actually, I can do this. I can just stop my share. On the windows. Oh, I had that window open. Duh, Elizabeth. Man. Let me stop my stream here. Let me go ahead and take a look at the schedule, and I can tell you what the labs are for tomorrow, because I believe tomorrow is actually now that I remember a little bit, there is a Write With Me tomorrow. Not with me. There is a Write With Me tomorrow with Leland, I think in the afternoon, if I can remember correctly. Yes. So Leland is teaching tomorrow at 3:00 Eastern, Write With Me, novel adjustment and pantsing. And then Karen Brown, we love Karen Brown, Lab Room 7. So tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, she is teaching lore books for novel AI. So if you've wanted, she has a previous lab that she did earlier in the week about novel AI, and this is a follow-up. So if you're just joining the Academy, you are able to access those labs tomorrow and join them. The links and stuff like that will be right up in the front of your Teachable account. And if you are already a member, let me know in the chat which lab sessions you plan to go next tomorrow, if you're planning to go to any about lore books with novel AI or the Write With Me session with Leland. That'll be really cool to see. All righty. So that is the topic for that. It's never been a better time to be an author. There's so much fun things to do. All the books. All right. Thank you all so very much. Good luck. I hope your Friday is very productive. And do me a favor and come back to the comments and stuff on the Write A Thon. Let us know if any of these techniques work for you. The dictation or anything like that. Let us know in the comments. If it does, let us know the word counts you're pulling down, because that's going to be awesome. And Stacey just shared she loved Karen's session on novel AI earlier in the week. Yeah, it was fantastic. I'm still wrapping my brain around novel AI. I tried using it very early on and I didn't like it. So I have like a chip on my shoulder about it. I've got to get over that. Because I know that it's got some really cool, fun features too. All right. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.